New year, new wonders. Let's talk about what I want to see from Wonders in 2026. So, every time there's a new year, we talk about New Year's resolution, so on and so forth. It's not something I'm a huge fan of, but there are some things that I would love to see from Wonders in 2026. And today I'm going to tell you about 3 of them. So, first things first, Rommel is going to fuss at me. Rommel is going to fuss at me about this. I would love to see some lore come out with COTS that drives the prologue story just a little bit further. Whether it's a chapter, whether it's a few chapters, whether it's something that moves the prologue lore forward. I would settle for a little bit of like slice of life. Just show us a little bit about some of the characters doing something, some of the COTS characters doing something in their daily lives. Y'all know me, I love stories. I think stories are some of the best things in the world, so I'm excited to see more stories from the Wonders of the First World. I'm not particularly picky about how we get them. It could be a bunch of different things. It could be a chapter of the story. It could be something creative. Like if we, hear who the friend is, y'all, I have my theories on who the friend is. If you think about it, it makes sense. I think there's going to be some fun stuff there, and I'm hoping that we'll see that move forward a little bit. And I think it'll make a lot of other players really happy to see lore. I think it'll make a lot of the collectors happy because lore plays into which cards are most beloved by collectors, by players. Some of the cards that are most important in lore are also typically some of the most playable cards. So even if you aren't particularly good at going, okay, this card is playable, or this card isn't playable, or this card is super powerful, if you know which cards are most important in the lore, you might be getting a good idea there. And the lore cards are some of the most collectible cards because the most people want them because they're the characters they know the best, so on and so forth. So that's a huge reason for both players and collectors to want more lore. I just want to know more about this story. Y'all know, those of you who know me know that I love a good story and love to hear more about stories and to go on adventures in my books and so on and so forth. The second thing that I would like is a system by which we can select judges. And I don't know how this would work with SCGCon. I may be talking out my butt about something that can't actually happen. But I know that in other games, you have to pass a test to be a judge, and members of the community can take the test and show a level of community involvement and then become judges themselves. And I personally think that we have members of the community who understand the rules well enough, who understand what's going on, so on and so forth, and all of the above that's necessary to be a judge, and would want to do so, would travel to do that. And I know that if you've seen one of my videos from this week, there's been some question of, are we following the rules to the letter of the rules as judges? And I think having to take that test and understand very clearly, show understanding clearly of what the rules are, would make it easier to say, this is what the rules say right now. This is what we're doing. And I'm not blaming SCGCon. I'm not fussing at any of the current judges. I'm just saying that this is something I would like to see. I think it's a great way for members of the community who don't love playing at a competitive level but really understand the rules to be involved at the community on that level, to travel to events. and to do all these fun things. And it's encouragement for people who already understand the rules on a basic level or on a more than basic level, to deep dive into the rules and figure it out. And so I think that making sure that we have judges who know the rules and who are involved in the community, and creating a system where community members and all these things can happen and align, will allow for a more fun and enjoyable play experience at the competitive level, and just a general more enjoyable con experience and competition experience for everyone, because there will be people who come just to judge at events. I think there are people who would do that, and so I know that's not an easy system to build. I'm not saying that it's the right answer. It's just something that I would like to see, that I think would do the good for the community. And I think it's something I've heard people talking about. I want to say Rabanero Peppers was talking about it in Discord a few weeks ago. And I think it's something that long term would really benefit the Wonders community, because if we have people who know the game, whose passion is the game, judging competitions, the game's going to grow more, because all these things are going to align and people are going to have more fun with it. So, thing 1 was more lore. Thing 2 is a system for a system for allowing people to become judges and ensuring that judges know what is written down in the rules. The final thing I want, and the thing that I want more than the other two things, I think should be fairly easy to do. I saw Texan's video mentioning how much he liked using these, and I am a dice goblin. I have my whole bag of dice and a rock climbing bag. By the way, if you ever need a bag for your dice and you don't know what to buy, a rock climbing chalk bag is one of the best things, because it cinches so your dice can't fall out when you're traveling, so you just cinch it up. But that's a complete Saint of Shove deck. I would love to see branded spin down dice for Wonders of the First. Like, I don't know how many people who are watching this are familiar with spin down dice. So what they do, I think black and white will show up best. So if you look, there's a 1, and then a 2, and then a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and they keep on counting, and then the 20 is the logo. This is a Magic the Gathering spin down dice from the Foundations bundle. All their bundles come with spin down dice, and I have like a gajillion of them. I refuse to use anything else when I'm playing Wonders other than these big chunky spin down dice. But they don't even have to be chunky dice. Their Magic at pre-releases does, they make little spin down dice. These are 2 of them. They're much smaller if you look at a size comparison. But they spin down. They've got, again, the logo on the 20. This one's Aether Drift. I think this one's Lord of the Rings. And they are nice and easy. These are literally made the same. Only thing that changes from year to year is from set to set is the logo. Literally, that's all that changes, and they come in like 4 colors. So I think it would be really cool if at competitions, if you participate in one of the main events, you get 2 branded spin down die. They can be, instead of the set symbol, we could put the Wonders symbol on the 20. Not that we're going to use the 20 very much, but still. And you could just literally use them to count your actions. And then when you have 0 actions, you pick the dice up, and then you show that you have 0 actions, or you pick up and move the dice for 0 energy. I think having branded spin down dice would just be a huge step up in my one of my scouting advisors used to say that we always needed to up our production value in our events, and I think it would be a huge step up in production value for events in Wonders. And I think it's such a small thing that people would be super excited about, and I think it could be done moderately cost effectively. I wouldn't even care if it cost me a few extra bucks to register for an event if I got spin downs. And I think people would buy them off the Wonders website for sure. And I think people would go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs for them. But I am not everyone in the community. So, these are the ideas that I have for some of the ideas that I have for what Wonders wishes I have in 2026. First, more lore to come out with COTS. Second, a system for training/testing judges. And third, branded spin down dice. If there is anything on these lists that you're like, Grace, we don't need that, or Grace, we really want branded spin down dice. I know the Wonders teams looks at what we say in the comments in the videos, what we say in our videos. So if you want one of those things, comment about it below so that we can show the Wonders team that we want these things. And I think the more people that say, hey, we want this, the more likely we are to get said things. And also the farther this video goes, so the more people can say, hey, we want that, and the more likely we are to get it. So, as always, please like, comment, subscribe, and keep being your wonderful selves.